In this video, we're going to get acquainted with Script Debugger's main type of window, which is the document window, the window where you create or edit or run an AppleScript script. But first, let's actually launch Script Debugger. The very first time you do that, you're going to see this product registration dialog if you haven't registered yet. You have 20 trial days, and Script Debugger is fully featured when it's in trial mode, so you can just click trial. The next thing you're faced with is the Choose Template dialog. What you're being offered a chance to do here is create a new script, and the new script is going to be based on a template. There are two very common types of template you're going to use. One is a script, which is called AppleScript here. You have an option also to make that a bundle. And the other is an application, also known as an applet. And if you click this, what you'll wind up with is a droplet. But 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, if you're like me, you're going to be making an AppleScript script. And there is a way to prevent this dialog from appearing every time you start Script Debugger, and I'll show that in a moment. So we'll go ahead and accept the default option to create an AppleScript script, an ordinary script. And Script Debugger's basic script window opens, and that's what we're going to tour around today. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, by default, when you create a new script by choosing File, New Script, you're going to pass through the template chooser. But if you're like me, most of the time what you want is to use the AppleScript template, and you can say to do that in the General Preferences. Under For New Documents, instead of showing the template chooser, you can say what template it is that you'd like to use. So I'll say every time I create a new script, I'd like to use the AppleScript template. Now I've set that. And so now when I say File, New Script, I just get a new script without passing through the template chooser. And if I do want to pass through the template chooser, I can say New Script from Template instead. Now, another form of flexibility to be aware of is that Script Debugger has tabbed windows. So instead of saying New Script, I can say New Script Tab. Now what's happened is both of these scripts, Untitled 2 and Untitled 3, are tabs in this same window. This can be very convenient. You don't have to switch back and forth between windows. You've just got tabs. There are quite a few cool features associated with these tabs. For example, you can drag one out if you no longer want it to be a tab. Now it becomes a separate window. Another cool tab-related feature is that if a script window is open at the time that I open an existing document, like this, it becomes a tab in that window. And if I don't want that to happen, then if I hold the Shift key as I open the existing document, it becomes a separate window. Or if I don't like this behavior, then under Opening Documents in the General Preferences, I can uncheck Open in Tabs. So now what happens is, if I open an existing document, it becomes a separate window. And if I'd rather have it be a tab, I hold the Shift key. In other words, I'm reversing my behavior. I held the Shift key and it became a tab in that window. Another useful thing to do as you're getting started with Script Debugger is to set the default size for the script that appears when you say New Script. It's a little large for my taste right now. And what you do is you're going to choose Window Set Default Script Size and State. But first you need to set up the window so that it's the size and state that you want it. So I'll just make it a little smaller. You can adjust this divider right here. I'll talk more about this divider in a moment and the stuff that's appearing to the right. Now I'll choose Set Default Script Size and State. And now when I say New Script, I get something which is the right size, the size that I like. On the other hand, the size of an existing script is saved with the script. So this script is a little large for my taste. I can make it smaller, and if I close the window without saving, then the next time I see this script, There it is, big again. But if I make it smaller and save, even though it doesn't appear to need saving, I can still save it. Now if I close the window and open it again, it remembers the size of that script. Now that we've got this window open one way or the other, I just want to do a quick tour of the window. I just want to talk about the window as a physical object and knowing one's way around it. So at the top of the window we have the toolbar. Now if you're really short on space, you can hide the toolbar. You can use the contextual menu, or you can use the view menu. Everything in the toolbar does have an analog in the menus, so you could live without the toolbar if you had to. The only thing that's not true of is this timer, which you use to time how long it takes a script to run. There's no other way to get that than to have the toolbar be open. But otherwise, for example, if you wanted to execute the script, well, you don't need the toolbar for that really. You can do it with script execute. If you wanted to show the event log, you could choose view, show event log. If you wanted to choose resultant variables or resources, you can choose view, resultant variables tab, resources tab. All of those things have an analog, so you could live without the toolbar if you really had to. Here in the middle of the window, obviously this is where you edit the script. You can think of this as the text area or the content area. And above it, there's this bar here, the navigation bar, which can be hidden by saying hide navigation bar. So again, I'll show it. It does two things. One is it tells you where you are, where the selection is in terms of line number and position, character position within the line. Now, the other thing that the navigation bar does is it tells you what handler or other large object you're in, like a script object. And if you click on it, it turns out that it's a pop-up menu. You can use that to navigate to a desired handler. At the bottom of the window, the very bottom of the window, this is an area called the status bar. That too can be hidden. You'll notice there's nothing in it, so it doesn't look like it does any good, but it does. So I'll hide the status bar. There's the window without the status bar. I'll show the status bar. If I were to do something like execute the script, now it says stopped. That's because I've reached the end of the script. I actually executed the script and came to the end. It's telling me the status, in other words. Or here's a different example of status. I'll just modify the script by inserting a space, and then I'll compile the script, and it says compiled. Now, off to the right of the window, we have the tab area. There are three different sets of inspectors that can be shown in this area, and they are chosen by using these three buttons up at the top right of the toolbar, or alternatively you can use these three items in the view menu, and one option is to show none of them. So if you're really short on screen real estate, you're using a very small screen, or you're trying to share the window with other material and you need the window to occupy as little space as possible, you can hide the stuff off to the right. You can hide the toolbar. You can hide the navigation bar. You can hide the status bar. There's sort of a minimalist script debugger window. Well, now I'm going to bring it all back again. So I'll show the toolbar. I'll show the navigation bar. I'll show the status bar. Make the window wider so that I can see the entire toolbar, and I'll show the inspectors at the side again. So as I say, you get three sets of these inspectors. Resultant variables is one, resources is another, and inspectors is the third. And I'm not going to go into the details of what all of these different inspectors do right now, But the point is that you can be nimble with that area. You can change what appears by clicking one of these three buttons, or get rid of that stuff altogether if you need to hide it for one reason or another. And finally, not showing right now at the bottom of the window is the event log. If I want to see the event log, I can say View, Show Event Log, or alternatively, I can click the event log button in the toolbar. That occupies the lower part of the window. And what is it doing? Well, a moment ago, you may recall I ran the script, and every time there was an Apple event, that is, every time my script sent a message to a scriptable application and got a reply back, that fact was recorded in the log. And now you see we're looking at the window sort of at its most crowded. All the pieces that can be showing are showing. And basically what I'm trying to impress upon you is, if that looks a little overwhelming, well, don't be overwhelmed, because there are alternative ways to show some of these things, and they can all be hidden at will. I can get rid of the event log, I can get rid of the stuff on the right, and so on. The state of the window is saved when the window itself is saved. So here I am with my maxed out version of the window, and I'll deliberately save it. And I'll close the window, and I'll open the window again. Now I'll hide a lot of those pieces, and again I'll deliberately save the window and close it, and I'll open it again, and the configuration is maintained. And that's true even if there's multiple tabs. So here's a tab I've just opened. Now you'll remember earlier in this video, this is my default state for a new window, and so I'm seeing it with the result in variables tabs running down the side. But meanwhile, if I go back to the insert numbers script, the state is maintained. So in that script, we don't have anything off to the side, because that's how I left it the last time I was there. So if I switch now, I'm showing the resources tab consisting of the description and the libraries. Go back over to untitled, that's got the result and the variable inspectors. Go back over to insert numbers, that's got the description and the library. So the state of all these pieces goes with the particular script, even if that script is a tab within the window.